Well, over the last week, we've talked a lot about the story behind the story when it comes to elections. Well, one thing that came up, why do we vote on a Tuesday in November? Well, it's time for your Election Day history lesson. Here's Rekha Mudaraj with the why.
Voting on a Tuesday. This tradition goes back, way back to before the Civil War, specifically 1845. That's when Congress passed a federal law designating the first Tuesday following the first Monday in November as Election Day. But why Tuesday? Well, it actually has a lot to do with the early American economy, farming in particular. Our early political leaders engaged in a bit of process of elimination when it came to picking the best day to hold elections. They crossed off Wednesday because back then that was typically market day for farmers. And Congress determined Monday, Thursday, and Friday wouldn't work either because they needed to factor in the amount of time it would take for voters to travel to and from the polls. You see, back then many people lived a full day's travel from their nearest polling places. Well, what about the weekend? Well, back before the 5-day work week came around in 1932, Saturdays were still spent on the job. Again, farmers in the fields. Sundays, you guessed it, they were spent in church. So that left Tuesday, which gave farmers plenty of time to travel to the polls, didn't interfere with their faith, and left the rest of the week to get their work done. And that's why you're voting today, on Tuesday. With the Why, I'm Rekha Mudaraj for H-Town Rush.